Today, we are going to be watching Demon Core. I don't know why I sounded so excited. This is a very serious and scary topic. Let's check it out. Beautiful.
In 1946, a P-239 plutonium core scheduled for detonation by nuclear bomb was harmlessly melted down and reintegrated into the United States' nuclear stockpile.
What?
That was the end of a 14-pound metallic sphere that had killed 2 scientists not 11 months before.
The forbidden Fushigi Bowl.
This is the true story of the Demon Core.
Adapted from an essay. Oh, I love video essays!
The spheres of atomic material that had obliterated the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki would have easily fit in your hand, and they were light enough to carry.
Really? Dude, I don't know why I thought they looked like this. I don't know, like maybe I'd be watching too much Looney Tunes, but I thought it was like this. Like, I don't know, Wumpa Fruit? You can hold it? And I thought it was like huge. No, it's not a butt plug.
Because of the extreme levels of radiation coming from them.
Oh, they do, but this is the core. Okay, so then that goes like inside of the thing.
And the cores were carried around in secure containers, but curious physicists reported that the cores were disturbingly warm to the touch.
Uh-oh.
Both the Little Boy and Fat Man nuclear bombs used
That's what I was talking about right there!
subcritical masses of uranium and plutonium respectively, meaning that no self-sustaining nuclear reaction would be possible with the spheres alone, and the nickel plating that covered them would prevent most of the escaping radiation from harming you.
Where did they get all of the nickels? Like, I don't know, if I had a nickel, I'd keep it.
The real harm comes later.
Oh.
The terrible explosions that Little Boy and Fat Man are famous for only happen when a nuclear core goes critical, using directed conventional explosives to artificially induce a critical mass.
Oh.
This meant literally compressing a plutonium or uranium sphere into a much smaller volume with explosions. Now, neutrons emitted from natural radioactivity would be much more likely to go on and impact other atoms before escaping, leading
Wait, I got tricked into learning something?
to a chain reaction of exponentially more and more atoms releasing tremendous energy.
Oh, because they're like going like...
At the heart of an atomic blast is a radioactive core filled with atoms poised like rat traps. All the bomb itself does is force one of those traps to snap.
Oh. Tickling the dragon's tail. I've done that with a couple VTubers. And I'm doing it again this weekend.
The so-called Demon Core was the third core of fissionable nuclear material made during the World War II era. It was also supposed to be dropped on Japan, but after the Empire's prompt surrender following the obliteration of Nagasaki, the core had no immediate military use. Instead, a physicist working at the Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico after the war decided to use the remaining core to figure out just what it takes to make a core like this go critical.
In a city? Am I crazy, or is this not like in the middle of a city? Huh?
Working at the Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico after the war decided to use the remaining core to figure out just what it takes to make a core like this.
Oh, that's like a lab complex. Oh, it was a fake city. Whoa, I didn't know that. It's like a base.
Go critical. When Otto Robert Frisch first arrived in the United States, he was placed at Los Alamos to study neutron multiplication in uranium and plutonium. These elements naturally radiate neutrons in the process of nuclear decay, and as we said, if there is enough of the radioactive element close enough together, these neutrons can go on to cause the rat trap style reaction as neutrons slam more neutrons free from other atoms.
Okay.
However, there is another way to force criticality other than just having a giant sphere of plutonium, which would...
Okay, this is gonna sound wild, so please listen. How do they, like, test this stuff? Because technically anything could be a theory, but you don't know if it works until you try. Which is the scary part. Very carefully. I mean, technically, you can test anything once.
Be hard to make. It turns out that if you use a very thick material to reflect neutrons coming out of the material back upon itself, like a mirror would, a self-sustaining reaction can occur with substantially less plutonium or uranium.
Oh, okay. So it's like when you go mining for diamonds in Minecraft, like you gotta find a way to make more quickly because you definitely want more than one diamond pick. But like there's not endless diamonds.
Even though an explosion might not happen after criticality is reached in all cases, a deadly blast of radiation certainly could. And that's exactly what happened.
Oh.
By 1944, Frisch was leading the critical assembly group at Los Alamos and started a dangerous series of near criticality tests.
Okay, if we're making bombs, I'm not doing anything dangerous. What the hell? Oh, hell no, can I get out of this? I'd rather like work on the safe testing.
The physicists in the group wanted to use neutron reflective materials around spheres of plutonium and uranium to see just how close they could get to going critical.
Yeah, you're right. I'm going to work at Lush. I'm working on bath bombs only.
Without explosives and without going over the edge. Commenting on the inherent risk of experiments of this kind, legendary physicist Richard Feynman reportedly said that the experiments were like, quote, tickling the tail of a sleeping dragon.
No. No. How do you, like, find people who want to do this stuff? I don't know how to explain it. Like, and they be, like, giggling, like, hee.
End quote. But even with the very real possibility of being roasted alive by the radio...
Me. Okay, well, we found that guy. Okay, he's in chat.
...active fire of a failed criticality test, the tickling the dragon's tail experiments continued. Within 2 years, neutron reflection experiments on the Demon Core would claim the lives of 2 scientists, Harry Daghlian Jr. and Louis Slotin, in almost the exact same way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like you want to be remembered in history, right? So they're like, oh, well, we did that. And like now I'm going to be in the history books and I live on forever. Or maybe like curiosity. The half-life of Harry. What?
On August 21st, 1945, Harry Daghlian Jr. was conducting a criticality experiment with the Demon Core. He was placing tungsten carbide bricks.
I know this is supposed to be a serious video, but 1, tungsten, and 2, this just keeps reminding me of like a Logitech mouse that my parents had when I was a kid that had like the roller ball, and then we would play like Snood.
Around the mass of plutonium to see how many bricks and in what orientation it would take to reflect enough neutrons to cause the core to go critical. That afternoon, using a Geiger counter-like device to measure the radiation coming off of the plutonium, he got close enough to criticality that he decided to end the experiment.
That's good enough. Like, let's go home. Anybody want to go to the Cheesecake Factory?
Now, this result should have been worth just a few graphite streaks in a notebook and maybe a beer at the local bar with the other physicists. That's what I said. But Daghlian was curious. Later that night, he returned, alone, to his assembly for another test.
Oh my god, the orb is calling to him. It's like a siren.
Like the tests before, Daghlian created an orientation of bricks that his measuring device told him was nearly critical. As he was placing one last brick, the measuring device indicated that the core would go critical if he continued on the assembly. The dragon would wake up. So cautiously, he began removing the final brick, and then he dropped it.
He dropped it. That's something I would do. Butterfingers, that's what they called me in basketball. Thank God I wasn't working on this.
The moment the brick hit the assembly, the Demon Core instantly went supercritical. And according to Daghlian, there was a blast of blue light and a wave of heat.
Oh, that cannot be good. If blue guy's there, you effed up.
Daghlian reacted quickly, though, and used his right hand to knock the dropped brick all the way to the floor.
Dude, there's no way he lives. There's no way you tank a blue light. Like, imagine it was like this. Where'd it go? Hello!
You really messed up! I'd start running, man!
The blueberry.
In those fractions of a second, Harry had received a fatal dose of radiation. In fact, he had endured what was likely the highest acute dose of radiation of any human in history.
Oh my god!
25 days later, Daghlian fell into a coma and died from organ failure owing to severe radiation poisoning. This
Wait, so like, that sucks even more because it's slow. Like, you just don't like insta-die. Oh my god, that's why like I'm also scared of like catching on fire or drowning.
photo, taken 9 days after the accident by medical staff, is of the hand that Harry had used to stop the demon core.
Oh my god!
He was 24.
Oh!
Harry wasn't completely alone and experimenting in the lab that night. A security guard, Private Robert J. Hemmerly, was also sitting at his desk next to Daghlian reading his newspaper. Hemmerly died 33 years after Daghlian Jr. from what is now considered to be radiation-caused leukemia.
Wait, what? I didn't know it was that sinister. Like, if you're in the room, you just get like AoE? Oh my god.
He was 29 and the father of 2 at the time of exposure.
Oh my god.
Harry K. Daghlian Jr. was the first official fatality from a criticality accident and the first American casualty of the atomic age.
Wow.
He had arranged to have his body donated to science after his inevitable end so that scientists could study the effects of radiation exposure on the human body.
Can I trauma dump for a second?
That's wild after that statement.
Dude, when my grandma passed away, she said she wanted to be donated to science, and where we lived, you had to pay money to do that.
It wasn't free. Like, you had to dono them money and the body.
I don't know. It was crazy. Or I got scammed and somebody just bought my grandma.
During the 25 days after his fatal mistake, Daghlian's colleague Louis Slotin spent many hours at his bedside comforting the 24-year-old as radiation poisoning slowly claimed him.
Aw.
Exactly 7 months later, in the same hospital, Louis Slotin would suffer the exact same fate.
Oh my god. Dude, I know this is such a serious video, but like Nuclear Cowboy is badass. There's just something about that. Like, that's a gamer tag.
By 1946, physicist Louis Slotin had taken over the critical assembly group from Frisch. Though the criticality experiments were moved from the Omega site at Los Alamos to the Palajito laboratory, the dangerous nature of the experiments did not change. In addition to Feynman's continued warnings, physicist Enrico Fermi said that, quote, "Keep doing that experiment that way, and you'll be dead within a year."
Okay, I'm taking that advice and I'm done. Holy crap!
But Louis Slotin wasn't worried,
He said challenge accepted?
and the experiments continued.
What?
On May 21st, 1946, Slotin was conducting another criticality experiment with the Demon Core. This time, though, instead of using tungsten bricks,
Oh. This is the screwdriver guy. Is it not?
Slotin was testing the critical point of the core by placing it inside 2 half spheres made of beryllium and lowering those halves until there was just a sliver of space before the sphere was complete.
God.
If the core was completely enclosed, the reflection of neutrons would be total, and the dragon would wake again.
So you have like the margins of a piece of paper.
The local expert among experts, Slotin was reportedly brash in his experimental protocols. In his signature pair of blue jeans and cowboy boots, Slotin would perform the criticality tests without the fail-safe spacers that would sit on the half spheres and keep it from ever completely closing. Instead, he would put his bare
No. It's like when people move the blocks at the gym that are supposed to catch the bar. And they go, I want to go lower and I don't even want a spotter. Who cares if I drop the entire thing on my body?
hand on the top half sphere and attempt to lower it using only the blade of a flathead screwdriver.
And his bare hands. Oh my god!
That way he could get much closer to criticality. And Slotin had successfully completed this experiment dozens of times.
Holy crap! Like, what if you sweat and you're holding a screwdriver? Then it's just all wet and drops to the ground.
The afternoon of the accident, Louis Slotin was conducting the same screwdriver experiment as 7 other colleagues recorded and watched. It was just like the test before, but for whatever reason, this time, the screwdriver slipped.
Oh my god! I don't even have a degree and I knew that was gonna happen! Oh no!
The moment the spheres touched, the demon core went prompt critical. The reflected neutrons coming from the plutonium inside the sphere instantly initiated super criticality.
Oh, and Goku's back. Dude, just to like give a crazy, like, I guess like, the sound effects are so good. And the narration is so good. The pace is so good. Dude, this video is peak.
Like the Daghlian accident, there was a flash of blue light and a wave of the dragon's heat before Slotin could flip the top half sphere off of the assembly.
Oh my god.
Naturally, the 7 other scientists in the room ran out as fast as they could as the accident occurred, but Slotin shouted them all to get back and tossed them a stick of chalk. He told them each to mark down precisely where they were standing.
Oh
By
my
establishing
god.
their positions relative to the demon core, Slotin would be able to calculate just how much radiation each person had just absorbed, and how much their lives had just been shortened.
Dude, at that point, I'm like, don't tell me. But that's just because, like, I would rather not know. But, like, that was pretty smart of him to do that. But at the same time, like, just let me live my life and not know when I'm gonna die.
According to physicist Raymer Schreiber, who was present in the room with Slotin that day, Slotin's first words immediately after the incident were, quote, "Well, that does it." Louis Slotin died of severe radiation poisoning 9 days later at the age of 35. He died in the same hospital as Harry Daghlian Jr. on another Tuesday the 21st as a result of the same accident with the same hunk of radioactive material.
Oh my god.
They even were cared for by the same nurse.
So if the same nurse is working on them, does she come in like the ET suit? Like, how does she not take AoE? What happens? I guess so? No? You don't become radioactive? That's not how it works? They aren't radioactive. Okay, that's why I'm learning. I'm learning. Radiation poisoning isn't infectious. Okay, write this down. I don't know why. I don't think I'm ever going to come to a situation where this is gonna matter. But I'll keep it up here just in case.
The demonstration that day was supposed to be the final demonstration with the core before it was used in a test detonation, and
Oh my god.
it was.
Okay, so the reason it isn't like infectious is because it basically just like destroys your insides and then you become soup. But like, you can't really give that to anybody else because you're just having like an internal issue, correct? Okay. That's not, okay.
In those few moments, Louis Slotin had been exposed to over 1,000 rads of radiation from the neutrons and gamma rays blasting out of the demon core.
Oh my
This is
god.
possibly the highest dose of radiation any human has ever taken.
Wow.
As a comparison,
Dude, it's kind of crazy to think about, like, he wanted to experiment and learn things, and like in the end, he became the experiment.
1,000 meters from ground zero in Hiroshima, the neutron radiation was measured as less than half of what Slotin had absorbed in those fractions of a second.
Oh my god. Yeah, not rad.
Since 1945,
L-death. We are so disconnected from reality. What do you mean, L-death?
over 60 criticality accidents have been recorded, leading to at least 21 deaths in facilities and labs all
Oh
around
my
the world.
god.
The flash of blue light that so often accompanies these incidents is an indication of the invisible radiation being released.
Oh, is it like on the scale or whatever I learned about in school? Like the rainbow?
As high-energy particles crash through the air, like these particles exiting a cyclotron, they excite the air molecules.
Oh.
The only way for these molecules to return to a lower energy state is to release some radiation of their own, photons of light. But while gases can absorb and re-emit the energy imparted,
I know I said oh, but like half the people in chat are probably like, she don't know what the fuck just happened. But I do. I love school.
to it by nuclear material, human bodies cannot. Instead, particles and gamma rays flying out of the nuclear cores rip electrons from the molecules that make you up and smash your cellular machinery beyond repair.
That's scary. Oh my gosh. Hydraulic press.
When enough molecular damage is done, radiation sickness can manifest itself as everything from vomiting and diarrhea to blisters, inflammation, impaired cognition, widespread organ failure, confusion, nausea, high fever,
medication commercials be like.
dizziness. 5 weeks later, on July 1st, 1946, a different nuclear core was destroyed in a 23-kiloton air-deployed nuclear weapon over Bikini Atoll. It was supposed to be the end of the Demon Core.
Okay.
Instead, the Demon Core was melted down and redistributed throughout the rest of the United States stockpile, effectively getting a brand new half-life.
Oh. Ask your doctor if extreme ionization is for you.
Until next time.
That's the end? Wait, I like that video. There's no more? I mean, thank God. Okay, that was insensitive. Nobody else messed around with the Demon Core?
Yeah. Story.
Oh my God, he's a real person jump scare.
Time with Kyle's a little serious, huh?
I love that the chat is strangely educated on nuclear physics. Well, I mean, guys love digging big hole, playing video games, and nuclear physics and explosions.
Thank you so much to the very nerdy staff at the facility for their direct and substantial support in the creation of this here video. Today, especially, I want to recognize research assistant Roydon Houghton, who's definitely not a Pokemon, and visiting scholar Max Concurrent. Oh, Maximum at the same time is what your parents should have named you. If you want to join the facility, you want to get a lab coat, get on the staff, you want to talk.
I want a lab coat. Can you see me in a lab coat? Yeah, he has awesome hair. I'm like bald. I get extensions.
To me in our Discord, give me episode ideas, get episodes early, join our Magic the Gathering League.
What? They play Magic? He's a very cool video about Magic the Gathering. Oh, we watching that. Oh, I don't care. We watching that. Oh my God! I love explosions in Magic the Gathering.
D-Nights, all this great nerdy stuff. You can join at patreon.com/Kyle Hill right now. And if you support the facility just enough, you get your name on RA here each and every week. And as you can see, there's literally hundreds and hundreds of you, so I don't know how I'm gonna pass the
Dude, he's like my science Oshi.
Yeah, it's not fun, these accidents and their stories. As I've been saying for weeks, you know my thoughts on nuclear weapons. They're terrible, terribly destructive. I don't think we should ever use them. I don't think we should even have them. If you want to know more of my thoughts, you can go to the End of History video back on the channel.
Wait, is that video about like how everybody gonna die?
And look, I could lighten the mood here with some, hey, it's fun Kyle Science Guy facts.
It's okay. He brought the sad information and I tried to be a little silly with it, okay? Because like, at the end of the day, sometimes you gotta laugh even if it's doomer. And I'm gonna try to do that, okay?
Could, but I'm not going to, okay? I could tell you
we're a team.
That, according to a recent study, platypuses are fluorescent. But
what? He yaps about so many topics. He needs to be a VTuber. Like, how did we get to that?
But I want you to, I wouldn't say that. I want you to sit here and think about it. I wouldn't say anything ridiculous like that.
Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, please go by the Twitch link to touch for BerryCrepe, or use code Berry for 10% off your Gamer Shop's order. I hope you have a great evening. Goodbye, YouTube! And don't mess with radioactive stuff. Goodbye!